She was 20 and completely alone, the kind of alone that settles into your chest slowly, heavy quiet. Cold 2 nights earlier, Maya had been standing on the porch of her aunt's apartment holding a plastic grocery bag filled with clothes while the front door locked behind her, no screaming. No dramatic goodbye, just a tired voice saying, "I can't keep carrying you anymore." After that, nobody called. Nobody checked where she slept. For 3 days, Maya wandered through bus stations, laundromats, and empty parking lots trying to stay warm during early winter rain. Her phone battery died first, then hope started fading too, until she found a strange listing buried deep inside a county surplus auction page. An abandoned watchmaker's cabin near Alder Creek, price $3. The photos showed almost nothing. A crooked wooden cabin, broken workshop windows, dust-covered clocks frozen at different times. Most people would have laughed at it, but Maya saw 4 walls, a roof, and maybe enough silence to disappear inside, for a while. So with her last coins and borrowed bus fare, she bought the cabin. But what she didn't know was something had been hidden beneath those old floorboards for over 40 years. Something connected to a watchmaker who vanished without explanation, and, before winter ended, the ticking hidden inside that cabin would change her life forever. Before we continue, if stories like this remind you that broken places sometimes protect broken people, subscribe to the channel, and while you listen, think about the oldest object someone ever left behind for you, because sometimes memories survive in silence longer than people do. Maya grew up above her grandfather's repair shop in a fading little town called Brindle Hollow. The shop was tiny, narrow, wooden. Walls fogged front windows, shelves crowded with clocks that never ticked together properly. Some chimed early, some late, some not at all. But her grandfather loved every one of them. His name was Leonard Vale. Most people in town simply called him the watchmaker. He repaired things nobody else had patience for anymore: pocket watches, music boxes, wall clocks older than the town itself. Every morning smelled the same inside that shop: machine oil, dust black, tea-polished brass. Maya loved it, especially the sounds: tiny clicks, spring, tension winding slowly, soft ticking filling the silence like rain. When she was little, Leonard let her sit beside him during repairs. "Listen carefully," he used to whisper. "Broken things speak softly." At 7 years old, Maya didn't fully understand, but she remembered the way his hands moved, steady, patient, gentle. Even damaged watches seemed safe with him. Sometimes customers couldn't afford repairs. Leonard fixed them anyway. "Time belongs to everybody," he'd say quietly. At night, he told Maya stories. While snowfall gathered outside the shop windows, stories about old craftsmen, railroad clocks, pocket watches carried through wars. And sometimes he talked about a cabin near Alder Creek where an old watchmaker once lived alone deep in the woods. A man named Edwin Mercer. According to Leonard, Mercer built custom watches, so precise people traveled across states just to buy them. Then one winter, he disappeared. No goodbye, no body found, nothing. Only rumors remained. Some people claimed Mercer hid his life, saving somewhere before vanishing. Others believed grief drove him into the forest after losing his wife. Leonard never joined the gossip. He simply said, "Some people disappear because the world stops listening to them." Maya never forgot that sentence. When Maya turned 13, Leonard's eyesight started failing. At first, he hid it well. Longer pauses during repairs, missed screws, dropped tools. But Maya noticed, one evening, she found him sitting silently at his workbench, staring at a disassembled pocket watch he could no longer see clearly enough to repair. The room felt painfully quiet. "I used to know every piece by touch," he whispered. Maya sat beside him without speaking. Outside, rain tapped softly against the windows. Finally, Leonard placed the tiny watch parts into her palm. "You finish it." Her hands trembled. "I don't know how you will." That night he taught her slowly, gear by gear, spring by spring, not rushing once. From then on, Maya became his eyes. They worked together every day after school, while other teenagers left town chasing bigger lives. Maya stayed beside ticking clocks and fading memories. And honestly, she didn't mind, because inside that little repair shop she mattered. But life outside the shop became harder every year. Brindle Hollow was dying slowly. Factories closed. Families moved away. Storefronts emptied. Customers stopped bringing expensive repairs. People replaced broken watches instead of fixing them. Money disappeared first, then warmth. Heating bills went unpaid. Food became simpler. Silences inside the apartment upstairs grew heavier. After Leonard died during Maya's final year of high school, everything collapsed quickly. The repair shop shut down within months. Her mother moved away with someone Maya barely knew, and Maya ended up staying. Temporarily with her aunt in the city, temporarily became uncomfortable fast. Her aunt worked 2 jobs and constantly reminded Maya how expensive everything was. Every meal felt borrowed. Every conversation tense. Maya tried finding work, but no experience. Meant no calls back. Eventually, frustration replaced kindness inside the apartment. Then came the night everything broke apart. A small argument about electricity bills turned into old resentment spilling everywhere. "You live in memories," her aunt snapped. "You can't survive fixing dead things." Maya stood there silently holding Leonard's old brass screwdriver inside her pocket while the words sank deep. Hours later, she was outside alone carrying grocery bags in freezing rain. The bus ride to Alder Creek lasted almost 5 hours. Most passengers slept. Maya stayed awake staring through fogged windows while forests slowly replaced highways. The farther north they traveled, the quieter everything became. By the time she stepped off near Alder Creek Road, evening light had already started fading blue across the snow-covered ground. The cabin sat nearly 2 miles into the woods. She walked alone, carrying 1 backpack and a flashlight with weak batteries. Cold wind moved through tall pine trees, making hollow whispering sounds overhead. Eventually she saw it. The watchmaker's cabin, small, leaning slightly sideways, half buried beneath vines and winter moss. One workshop window remained cracked open, a rusted weather vane turned slowly above the roof, and, somewhere nearby, Maya heard faint ticking. She froze immediately, then silence. Probably branches moving, or imagination. Still, the sound stayed inside her head while she unlocked the cabin door. The hinges groaned softly. Inside smelled like cedar wood dust, and ancient machine oil. Old clocks covered nearly every wall, most frozen, some missing hands entirely. One pendulum still moved weakly near the back workshop. Tick pause. Tick. Maya stared at it uneasily. Nobody had lived here for decades, so why was anything still running? The first week inside the cabin felt strange, not dangerous, just unsettled. Night the clocks made uneven sounds in the darkness. Some clicked randomly despite being unwound. Others chimed softly at incorrect hours. Sleep became difficult. Still Maya stayed because the cabin felt oddly familiar, like stepping inside one of Leonard's old stories. During the days she cleaned carefully. Dust layers covered everything. Tiny screwdrivers, repair journals. Broken gears sorted neatly into glass jars. Edwin Mercer had been incredibly organized. Almost obsessive. One afternoon, Maya discovered something unusual beneath the workshop table. Small carved marks, not random scratches, dates, dozens of them. Each paired beside exact times: 11:43 p.m. 2:16 a.m. 4:51 a.m. Why would someone carve times into wood, and why did the markings suddenly stop 40 years earlier? That night Maya heard the ticking again, closer this time, beneath the floor. The sound became impossible to ignore after that. Not loud, subtle, a steady ticking beneath the workshop floorboards. After midnight, Maya searched everywhere. Loose clocks, hidden mechanisms, wall compartments. Nothing explained it. Then she noticed another strange detail. One section of floor near the workbench stayed warmer than the rest of the cabin, only slightly, but enough to feel wrong. She knelt carefully and pressed her ear against the wood. Tick, 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 clear now, directly below her. Her heartbeat quickened. The boards looked older, there but cleaner around the edges, as if someone removed them long ago and placed them back carefully. Why Maya grabbed a flashlight and Leonard's brass screwdriver, but before she could pry anything open, she noticed initials burned into the underside of the workbench. L.V. Leonard Vale, her grandfather. She stared silently for several seconds. He had been here, actually here, not just telling stories about the cabin. Something deeper connected him to this place. And suddenly, the mystery no longer felt random. Snow trapped Maya inside the cabin for almost 3 days during a storm wind rattled windows constantly. The forest outside disappeared beneath white silence, so she spent hours reading Edwin Mercer's old journals. Most entries discussed repairs gear measurements, spring tension clock deliveries, but scattered between technical notes were strange unfinished sentences. Time remembers what people bury. The floor must remain untouched. She said the watches would stop if anyone found it. The handwriting also became shakier near the final pages, more paranoid. Then Maya found something else, a folded newspaper clipping hidden inside one journal. Watchmaker questioned after local bank theft. The article was partially damaged, but Edwin Mercer's name appeared several times. No conviction. No evidence found, just suspicion. Maya sat silently while wind howled outside. Could Mercer have hidden stolen money beneath the cabin? Was that what the ticking protected? But if so, why would Leonard visit here? None of it made sense yet. And that uncertainty kept pulling her deeper. The breakthrough came accidentally. Late one night, Maya dropped a heavy clock weight near the workshop table. The floor vibrated strangely. Hollow, she froze, then slowly moved everything aside. Beneath an old rug, she discovered tiny metal nails forming a square pattern between the boards. A hidden hatch. Her breathing became shallow immediately. The ticking below sounded louder now. Almost impatient, Maya hesitated for a long time before opening it, because some part of her feared the answer more than the mystery itself. Finally, she slid the screwdriver beneath the wood and pulled upward carefully. Dust rose into the air cold. Darkness waited below. And somewhere inside that darkness, something kept ticking steadily after 40 years. The hidden space beneath the cabin was surprisingly large. Not a crawl space, a workshop secret, underground, perfectly preserved. Maya climbed down slowly, holding the flashlight tightly. Shelves lined the walls filled with watch parts, sealed boxes, and detailed blueprints. In the center sat a large wooden table beneath a hanging lamp. And on that table rested dozens of pocket watches ticking perfectly, in sync, tick, tick, tick. The sound filled the room like a heartbeat. Maya moved closer carefully. Beside the watches sat metal lockboxes stacked neatly together. Inside them cash-old bills bundled carefully, gold coins, jewelry wrapped in cloth, enough wealth to shock anyone. But what truly stopped her breathing sat near the far wall, a leather case marked with Leonard Vale's initials. Inside rested a handwritten letter addressed to Maya. Her hands shook opening it. The letter explained everything. Years earlier, Edwin Mercer had been falsely accused after discovering corrupt town officials stealing bank funds during the economic collapse. Mercer secretly hid evidence and valuables beneath the cabin before disappearing to protect innocent workers tied to the scandal. Only one person knew the truth afterward. Leonard, Maya's grandfather, had spent years quietly preserving Mercer's hidden workshop and protecting the evidence from being destroyed. But Leonard never revealed it publicly because too many powerful families remained connected to the scandal. Instead, he waited. The final paragraph nearly broke Maya emotionally. One day, Leonard wrote, "Someone patient enough to repair broken things will find this place. If that person is you, then the watches were right to keep ticking." Maya cried harder than she had in years. Not because of the money, because even after death, her grandfather still believed in her hands. Authorities eventually investigated the evidence carefully. Old records resurfaced. Historic thefts were confirmed. Families finally learned the truth behind Mercer's disappearance. Some valuables became legal historical claims. Others were distributed properly. Maya didn't become instantly rich, but she received enough to rebuild her life. Honestly, slowly, she restored the cabin, first window by window, clock by clock. A retired carpenter nearby helped repair the roof. An elderly antiques dealer taught her how to authenticate old watches properly. And every evening, Maya repaired clocks inside the workshop exactly the way Leonard once taught her. Patiently, quietly, word spread slowly about the girl in the watchmaker's cabin. People started bringing broken heirlooms again, pocket watches, music boxes, old wall clocks nobody else wanted repaired, and Maya fixed them all. Not quickly, carefully. because now she understood something her grandfather always knew. Broken things survive longer when someone takes time to listen. People think healing happens loudly, but sometimes healing sounds like tiny ticking, in a quiet room, steady, patient, unnoticed by most people. The cabin taught Maya that hidden value isn't always buried treasure. Sometimes it's trust passed silently between generations, a skill, a memory, a belief that damaged things still deserve care, even people. Especially people. 1 year later, snow fell softly across Alder Creek again. Warm golden light glowed through the restored cabin windows, while clocks ticked peacefully inside. Maya sat alone at the workshop table repairing an old pocket watch, beneath the same hanging lamp from the hidden room. Outside, the world remained cold, but inside, the cabin finally felt alive again. Sometimes she still remembered standing alone in freezing rain after being kicked out. Back then she believed her life had stopped moving forward, but beneath forgotten floorboards hidden under years of silence, she found more than money. She found proof that someone had trusted her to continue what they couldn't finish, and sometimes that kind of trust changes everything.